Okay, so putting this all together. Now I know this diagram looks like really kind of complicated, but we're going to kind of break it down. So I'm going to kind of explain what happens here. So first of all, we have a salt bridge that contains a dissociated ionic solution. So in this case, Na or sodium and SO4 2 negative. So first of all, we've got my anode here, which happens to be zinc, my cathode, which happens to be copper. Again, I know this, okay, because copper appears higher on the activity series, and we're going to go right as if a ball was rolling down because it's a spontaneous reaction. So copper is being reduced, zinc is being oxidized, therefore the zinc is the anode and the copper is the cathode. Remember, electrons flow from A to C, so I can put my electrons in there. Now I know what's going on at the anode, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that in there, right? At the anode, okay, we're being oxidized, so zinc metal is breaking apart into 2 electrons, and then the zinc ion, okay, it's being oxidized. It's losing those electrons. Those electrons are going into the wire, and the metal is breaking apart, and those zinc ions are going into solution, okay? On the other side, where the copper is, this is happening as a reduction reaction, so in this direction here. So we've got the copper 2 ions, okay, they're gaining those electrons, and they're forming copper metal, okay? So that copper metal is plating up on there. Now, I do have a note here that what happens is we have a buildup of ions. So on the anode side, we have a buildup in solution of the positive zinc ions, okay, because they keep coming into solution. And on the copper side, what's happening is we have a buildup of negative ions because the positive ones are coming out of solution, okay, so we just have the negative ones left in there. So what ends up happening here is in the salt bridge, that sodium sulfate has to move somewhere, okay? So the sulfate ions, or the negative ions in the salt bridge, are going to go to the positive side, and the positive ions in the salt bridge are going to go to the more negative side. All right? Don't worry, we're going to go through this practice all together.